We are tracking a 100-acre wildfire burning in Medical Lake. KREM 2 has your wildfire team coverage, bringing you the very latest updates.
And we are tracking the fire conditions out towards Medical Lake. That and the rest of your forecast coming right up.
And school is back in session for students in Wallace, Idaho. Our Taylor Vito explains what precautions the district is taking and what kids are saying about that. Breaking tonight, level 3 evacuations in place now for a brush fire burning in Medical Lake. Level 3 means leave immediately. Those evacuations are between Bartholomew and Welcome roads. The Bartholomew fire is burning near Highway 902 just south of Fairchild Air Force Base. The fire also threatening a number of structures in the area.
And also new just within the last few minutes here, roads are back open there on Highway 902. They were closed for several hours because of this fire, but again, they are back open now. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us here for KREM 2 News at 5. I'm Whitney Ward.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Mark Hanrahan. We have team coverage tonight as the Bartholomew fire in Medical Lake continues to burn at this hour. Amanda Rowley is joining us live from Fairchild Air Force Base, where the survival school was just evacuated. But we'll start with our Brandon Jones, who's near Highway 902. Brandon, you've been there since the start of the fire. What's the latest?
Mark, well, this fire has been burning for a few hours at this point, but the fight to contain it has not slowed down one bit. And actually, what's really interesting is in the last few minutes, it's really seeming pull the smoke begin to rise on here. It looks like things are beginning to, get under control and contained, but for some reason, I'm just not sure why it's, beginning to rise back up. So you see there's helicopters and everything beginning to fly over, and what really makes it hard is the wind. It really makes things difficult to contain. So we know 100+ acres inside and headed towards the northeast near Fairchild Air Force Base. Started next to Bartholomew Road, level 3 evacuations are in place. On the west side of the fire, Bartholomew Road is blocked off. On the east, Welcome is roped off, and on the south, Highway 902 just reopened a few moments ago. They're attacking this fire with 4 fire bosses and a helicopter on scene picking up water from Silver Lake, which is right down the street, so they have a quick turnaround in terms of refilling the drums. 8 tinder structures are in danger because of this fire. 3 large air tankers are responding, 13+ fire engines, 5+ fire agencies, including resources from the Air Force Base, are trying to get this under control. I spoke with the DNR a bit earlier today, and they're trying to get it under control.
We do have level 3 evacuations in place. On the west side, it's Bartholomew Road. On the east, it's Welcome. On the south, it's 902. So that's kind of the box for the level 3 evacuation. The fire is burning in brush and timber and grass. And the wind is kind of giving the direction of the fire, which is going from the southwest towards the northeast.
And just a few moments ago, I spoke with a family who's right here, right down the street from me at the veterinary that is closed down right now. They told me they have one of those 8 to 10 structures that are currently closed down. So I'm going to go speak with them again just to hear their story. They were telling me this is the first time they ever had a firefighter walk up to their door, knock on it, and tell them they had to get out of there. So they're just praying and sending their hopes up right now to make sure everything is okay. And I'm going to go check in with them to see how they're doing. Our KREM's Amanda Rowley is on the opposite side of this fire right now at the Fairchild Air Force Base. I'm going to toss it to her to see what she sees over there and how they're responding to the situation. Amanda?
Hey, thanks, Brandon. That's right. So we just gained access onto Fairchild Air Force Base. We're on the south side of the air wing. We're going to give you a quick look. There's been quite a bit of change from what we were seeing from a distance of the smoke in the area. When we first talked to you at 4 o'clock, it seemed like the smoke had dissipated, but now it's picked up quite a bit. Joining me this evening here is Colonel Cassius Bentley. He's going to share with us kind of what we're seeing right now, how things are going, as well as a message he would like to share as far as community support. Colonel.
Good evening. So about 12:45 today, we had a brush fire that started about a half mile south of the base. And unfortunately, about an hour later, it reached the base. And we had several buildings that are owned and used by the 336 training group that were potentially caught on fire. We also had about 154 students there that we had to evacuate. And I would say if it wasn't for the quick and immediate response from Fire District 3 and 10, and also the Department of Natural Resources, we could have a much bigger problem than we actually had. And I think this is a true testament that shows how special the relationship is with the Spokane community. And on behalf of Fairchild Air Force Base, I just want to say thank you.
I'll swap with you there, Colonel. Thank you so much. Can you tell us at this point, I know we hope to talk to the fire chief, but can you tell us at this point what the damage may have been like in that area to the base at all in any way?
So the damage could have been pretty bad. We have several buildings over there, but again, because of the response and the timeliness of their response, all buildings were saved. All lives were saved. And the only damage we have is grass and some brush fire and maybe one watchtower on that side of the base.
Thank you so much, Colonel. I appreciate your time. We'll give you one last look here of kind of the scene we're looking at here. We are seeing some planes kind of flying over pretty close to what I've seen in the last few wildfires we've covered so far this summer, but we're keeping an eye on it. Looks like we can see off in the distance a helicopter doing some bucket drops. We'll be keeping an eye on that as we remain in this spot here on Fairchild Air Force Base. From now, we'll send it back to you guys.
Amanda Rowley live at Fairchild. Thank you very much. Also, thank you to Brandon Jones earlier. This is a developing story, by the way. We will bring you the very latest updates as we get them. In the meantime, head to our webpage, KREM.com, for the latest information.
And we also want to take a moment just to address the other fires that we are continuing to track here in our region. All evacuation levels remain in place for the Palmer fire. You can see they're listed right there on your screen, level 1, level 2, and level 3. And you remember, level 3 means go right now. That fire is still burning in the Okanagan County area south of the U.S.-Canadian border. In the meantime, crews say they do have this fire 68% contained. It's burned just under 18,000 acres. You can actually see this is an aerial view of that fire. Also just in from the Okanagan County Emergency Management, they're now offering free COVID testing to all fire personnel on the front lines. So with so many fires burning across our region, we want to check in now with Tom Sherry because it is just breezy enough that it could be causing a couple of issues. Tom?
Yeah, we definitely need to knock down these fires by the time the weekend rolls around. By the time Saturday comes, we're going to see 25 to 30 mile-an-hour winds and continued very warm temperatures. Right now, at the fire burning near Medical Lake, just southwest of the Fairchild Air Force Base, you can see that the current temperature there is 84 degrees. At least the wind is not a huge factor. Wind out of the southwest right now in the single digits at 9 miles per hour. During the 4 o'clock broadcast, it was at 10 miles per hour. We're at 82 degrees out towards the airport. Again, you can see that wind out there out of the south at 9. Current air quality, we've gone from good air quality yesterday. Now we're at moderate air quality today, and I suspect that that fire has something to do with that. Satellite and radar picture, as you can see, not showing you any precipitation occurring across the area. We'll look for an overnight low of 53. Very warm weather expected on your Friday with a high of 87. As we head into the weekend, Saturday will become very windy as a cold front is moving in. We'll look for a high of 85 Saturday, but then 74 the expected high on Sunday. Continued windy weather on Sunday, and we may get some rain late Sunday night into Monday morning. More on that with a look at your 7-day forecast coming up in a few minutes.
Well, the rain would certainly be helpful, Tom. Thank you very much. New tonight, the Bonner County Sheriff's Office is looking for a mom and her 2 children after a trip to Sandpoint. Authorities say Layla Hizza picked up her 2 children in Sandpoint from a visit from their custodial guardian, and they've not returned home. Hizza may be in the Post Falls area or may have traveled to Oregon. So if you have any information, you are urged to contact the Sheriff's Office at that number right there at the bottom of your screen. While some school districts are delaying the start of school due to COVID-19, other districts are already back in the classrooms. Today marked the first day of school in Wallace, Idaho. KREM 2's Taylor Bido explains how the district is taking precautions and what students are saying about them.
Well, as of now, the student body here at Wallace Junior Senior High School is alternating days on which they go to school. They will learn from home as well. Other precautionary measures at the school include temperature checks.
It's really weird coming back.
A statement just about any teenager can relate to. Forget shaking off the feelings of summer and getting back to school in the first place. Going to school during a pandemic, well, that's another story.
It was a little weird because we only had half of our students here, but they try to make it as normal as possible while still keeping distanced and hand sanitizers and stuff.
As long as we were distanced we didn't have to put a mask on, but if we were like in groups, you had to.
For now, Wallace schools are using what they're calling an A-B model. Students in Group A will go to school on Mondays and Wednesdays, and students in Group B will go to school Tuesdays and Thursdays. This reduces the amount of students at school each day. The district says this will also help lower the risk of coronavirus. When students are home, they'll still have assignments to complete. As far as COVID, there are some other protective measures.
It was a little odd, so you go in and you get like a little microfiber cloth.
That cloth will be used to wipe down areas the students are at. And as this informational video put out by the school district shows, students getting on buses or getting dropped off at school will have their temperature taken.
It's just weird seeing everyone with masks on and the protocols we have to do, but yeah, you have to do it.
Shoshone County went months without a case of COVID-19. The first case was tallied at the start of July, but now that's much different. The county has close to 200 cases and a dozen deaths. However, about half of those numbers have been tied to a local long-term care facility. Still, school leaders have made it clear they want to be cautious when it comes to the roughly 480 students in the district, and some kids argue split days of school are better than none at all.
A little disappointed that this is like how my senior year is starting out, but I'm glad that we're at least going back some days.
The district has said their learning plan is fluid. They say it could change at any time, but they will notify parents if that happens. In Wallace, Taylor Vito, KREM 2 News.